If you're adding only one host in the cluster, that specific IP you'll be giving here so that you'll be able to add that to the cluster. If you are adding a set of hosts, then its pattern can be specified here. How? Probably 192.168. You got it? Search for host names and IP address using the patterns. I click on that. If they are really available, I'll be able to identify those things here. I'll be able to identify those things here. But they're not really available to me. That is why could not connect to host is what we are getting. Otherwise, we are going to get that 102 to 109. That is what we have given. 8 host can, 0 running SSH. So we need to specify see here what we got. Matching with that pattern, you are able to find this one. But this already is a part of the cluster. That is why you are not able to select that. This is already part of the cluster. Host ready, currently managed, yes. This host is already managed by your CDH. You cannot make it to be managed again. So if you give an IP address here of the host which is newly added, then you'll be able to get this option. Select that one, and you'll get the chance to continue, so that the respective parcels can be distributed. I mean, downloading has already been done, distributed, and activated on the respective host. And the respective agents also been set up on the host, so that the monitoring of the services running on that can be viewed to you with the help of your Cloudera management service. See, Cloudera management agents will be set up on the newly added node, so that you get constant inputs from that. What the service is running, what is the health status of that one, all those things you'll be getting.
Software.
Yeah, Arun.
No, nothing, Shri. By mistake, I clicked on.
Okay. So from this stage onwards, it is the same old story that we have identified. The same old story that has been identified before. How you distribute this one, activate and all, it goes in the same path. So on that, what services need to be set up, that we can decide and do it. Usually, we will have only slaves. That is where we'll have these roles been set up. Data node role, yarn. These are the only two roles usually we set up. You want other roles, then we'll be setting up those things even, but these two roles will be setting up on the newly added hosts, right? So that is one thing. See here, did we discuss this one? No, I believe. how to create the host templates. This is a very useful aspect as part of your cluster. If you go to this one, you have something called host templates. You have seen the roles here. For your cluster one, I think you know with the same Cloudera manager, you'll be able to manage multiple clusters. You can have your development cluster, you have your testing cluster and the production cluster all been managed by one single user interface. That is your Cloudera manager. That is how you can say here. We go to that. You have an option called add cluster. When I click on that, you have this option, continue. I'll be able to add one more cluster to the same Cloudera manager. I hope you're getting that point. You can have multiple clusters managed by the same Cloudera manager. And there you will be able to see here. What is a cluster? If you have multiple, you'll be able to see that one even. As we don't have that, we are not able to see it here. So the host templates is such a concept. Imagine that each time you are adding new hosts, I mean the slaves, where you want to set up those 4 roles or 5 roles or 6 roles, instead of you deploying those roles specifically each time when you're adding new hosts, you can create a template here. Host template defines set of role groups that can be used to easily expand clusters by populating new hosts with roles. For example, to expand an existing cluster by adding more hosts with data node, task trackers, and region servers, a host template containing a group of each of those roles can be created and configured as appropriate for the hardware configurations of the new host. And then the host template can be applied to the new host, creating all the roles in a single operation. I hope you are able to understand this one. When you are bringing in new hosts, that is the reason why I discussed that point, how you add a new host to the cluster. When you add a new host to the cluster, you need to deploy the roles onto that one. And if you want to deploy some standard set of roles onto the newly added host, then doing this one on each host is definitely an expensive process. Instead, you can create a host template. I don't know whether you are getting this point or not. It is very much similar to that of you create an image that is same like your Docker concept. You got the point here, friends?
Yeah, got it, Srini.
So this is definitely a very useful feature as part of your one second, friends. Yeah. So we create, all the respective roles and make that as a template kind of thing. And this template, if required, we can have multiple templates created there, not just one. We can create the required templates and keep them ready. Whenever we are bringing new hosts to the cluster, what we do is, instead of you deploying all the required roles onto that newly added host, this template can be deployed onto that. I hope you are getting that point. So that becomes an easy process for you, rather than deploying the individual roles and all onto the newly added host on every host. See, this is a very useful feature in the case where you are going to add new hosts frequently, so that there will not be any, you will not be having the same challenge each time when you are adding new hosts to the cluster. So usually when you are adding new hosts to the cluster, you will be doing the same thing. What is that you will be doing? Probably the same roles, whatever been shown here. I think you notice when you see the roles here, on data node 1 till 3, 1, 2, 3, of course 4 also we have the same, but we have one additional thing, that is the flume that is been added. That is the only additional thing we did, I think. Flume, I believe. Yeah, flume agent is the only additional thing. Otherwise, it has got the same. It has got the same roles. So data node, and then your Hive gateway, then your Impala daemon, and your yarn. That is a node manager. So when this is what I'm saying, you notice here, we can have a data node and gateway, Impala daemon, and node manager created as a single template, and that template is going to be deployed onto the host, newly added host. So like that we can create multiple templates and keep them, so that when you're adding the new host, we can apply the same template um, onto the newly added host. That becomes easy. Host templates can also be applied to the host with the existing roles to reconfigure them. Hosts with the existing roles will gain new roles but will not lose existing ones. Even if you create a host template created now, it can be applied to all the existing nodes that we have, wherever you want to apply that one. So if the roles are there, the common roles are there, they will not get disturbed. If any new roles are there in the newly created template, only those roles will be upgraded on the respective hosts. And that's what the advantage part, working with your host templates. But this host templates concept is in terms of the respective cluster only. Why it is specific to the cluster? You see that here, whatever we are creating, that is going to be only in the context of your cluster 1, because that is what we created already. This is what your cluster 1. This is what your cluster 1. You can add one more cluster. So this host templates is specific to that cluster only. You cannot make use of these things across the clusters. We can create the host templates pertaining to the cluster, a specific cluster. And those templates can be applied only to the hosts that we are adding to the specific cluster. Not like, across different clusters, we can have the same host template that can be deployed. That is not possible. Is that clear?
Yes, Srinivas.
So host templates will give you the advantage of deploying the roles on the newly added host quickly. So you also can see here in terms of your this is the disk overview of the respective. I think you noticed here. Read IOPS, write IOPS, total IOPS, read throughput, all the information related to. I think I've already shown you the chart builder. If I'm not wrong, I've shown you the chart builder.
No, Srinivas.
What builder?
Chart builder.
No, you have not shown this.
I think we have discussed, right? How we create the new charts as part of the dashboard. I discussed, I believe. But fine, not an issue. See, all these, based on your need, you can have, you can create even new charts. We will talk. Let us finish this part and then we go on there. We have a chart builder. Now that is what you can see here. Each chart that you are seeing here has got the specific configuration. You want, you can add it to the dashboard. This one you want, you can add it to the dashboard or open this in the chart builder. If you see, this is what select last utilization where category equals to disk and logical partition equal to false. That is what the query. Of course, this query we need not worry. This query can be dynamically built by you with the help of the user interface here. So what needs to be there on x-axis and what needs to be there on the y-axis and what type of chart that needs to be shown in this one, all can be decided by you. See, in fact, whatever you are seeing here, when you go to this cluster CPU, cluster disk IO, cluster network IO, HDFS IO, whatever you are seeing here, all these are being default created whenever you create the cluster. But you want any additional chart to be displayed here. You want to bring in a new chart, you always can do that. That is the reason why even here when you go to the disk overview, say I want this to be, let me total throughput assume. HDFS, one second. You notice that here? You notice that here? Yeah, Arun, Sunil, you notice that here that we were able to bring that chart over here to this page, home page. You notice that? Earlier this was
Yeah,
not.
so we have to write the query, is it? You cannot, because I saw you writing the query, correct?
No, I didn't write any query. That there are there actually in the disk overview, there are some charts that are already been built. If you want, we can build a new chart. We can see that one probably after finishing this concept. But what I'm telling you, the charts that are there here, if you see those charts, if I want any chart to be shown as part of my home page, say for example, disk IO utilization. If this chart I want this to be a part of the dashboard. I have an option here, add to dashboard. There, select the where I want that to be added, cluster status page. Okay, so I want that to be added to my cluster status page, and I say save chart. Now you go to the cluster status. This is the cluster status page. Okay, let me, or 1 second. Chart saved the cluster page successfully. Okay. Oh, cluster disk IO, it is already showing here. Fine, fine. That is why we are not able to see. Disk service time. Cluster say status page. HDFS IO. Why that is not coming here? Pull it down more. Status page. One second. Where is that we have separately the status page here? This itself is a cluster status page. This itself is a cluster status page. We don't have anything separate. You see the graph that we write IOPS, say total IOPS, you see, add to the dashboard. So we have something called cluster status page and home page. So we are adding it to the home page, assume, save chart, chart saved to home page. So you go and see here, you have the total IOPS that is been created, chart that is been added. This itself is a status page, but why it is considering separately as a home page, I am not getting it. Because this itself is a status page. I think you see here, the Cloudera Manager, and you are going to the cluster one, and you see this is what that is what we noticed here. The cluster one status and okay, got it. See, this is a Cloudera Manager home, and this is the cluster home separately. That's fine. So the cluster status page is different and the Cloudera Manager home page is different. So you are adding the charts to the respective. Yeah, they two are different. The two are different. They're not the same. Say for example, this disk average queue length, if it needs to be added to the dashboard, we need to specify where we need to add that one. Whether you want to add this one, we need to add these charts only to the respective context. Either cluster status page or the home page. Home page is the one, where this is appropriate, there we need to add that. So here you say, this is a home page of my Cloudera Manager. So where you can go and see disk average queue length, what is been added now. And as the Cloudera Manager can have multiple clusters, for each cluster also we have a status page, that is a cluster status page. To that also we can add. Now, whatever it is newly added chart, that is not added over here. That is added to the Cloudera Manager status page. That is a Cloudera Manager home page. That is what you can see here. Disk average queue length, what is being added. Of course, you can remove this one from here if you don't require. You can go and remove. You can remove this chart. If you don't need these charts here, you can go and remove them. That's not a problem. They get removed only from this one. Originally, where you have created the charts, they will be there. But you want those charts to be even displayed in the other pages of your respective services. That is always possible. You can see that here, disk overview. So in the disk overview, you have the charts remain as is. If these charts are required to you at a different place, you always can make them available. Say disk IO utilization or disk average queue length or disk await time, you want to add it to the specific part of the dashboard, you can do that. This is the cluster status page. I'm adding this to the home page. Which home page? Your Cloudera Manager home page. That is where you see that disk await time added to the Cloudera Manager home page. See, every cluster will have their own home page. Is something called the status page. That cluster status page. You want anything to be added over here, you can add that one. right? I'm removing even these things from over here. Yes. So that is your parcels. I think I have already discussed this one at the time of setting up itself. So as of now, this is the only parcel that is been downloaded, distributed, and activated. You can see that here. This has been distributed and activated. You want, you can deactivate that. Any point of time, you can deactivate. So whatever the parcels that are available, you can say here check for new parcels. If any new parcels are there in the Cloudera repository, those parcels will be shown to you here. You can download them. After you download, you can distribute to the required hosts and you can make them to be activated on the respective host. That can be done. This, I think we have already seen. We have already seen this one. Say for example, this Kudu is the new file system, like how you have your HDFS, you have Kudu. That is a new file system that is been developed where you can store the data in a row columnar structure, that is in the form of tables, so that the retrieval is going to be very fast. I mean, that is a specific context, not like your HDFS. So you want that Kudu parcel to be downloaded, activated, distributed and activated. You click on this one, download. So it is going to download. And once the downloading is been done, you can think about, I think you are seeing here, downloading the respective parcel that is available. Once it has been downloaded, you can distribute that one and then you can make it to be activated on the respective host. I think I have explained you decently about the parcel and the package. What difference exists between parcel and package? So which is more advantageous out of parcel and package? Which is more advantageous? You remember what we discussed on parcel and package? Arun?
Yeah. So what's the question?
So I think now you see that you want, you can distribute, you don't want, you can distribute. Parcel is more advantageous than package.
So, Sunil, I think there's a lot of noise from your end.
Yeah, Arun, yeah. I think it is from Sunil. Yeah. He's on mute now. Yeah. Yeah, go ahead, Arun. Yeah.
No, what was your question? I didn't get it because of the noise.
Yeah, parcel and package are the two things that we discussed. So we are only talking about parcels, not packages anymore here. In what way your parcels are more advantage than packages? We have already discussed that one. Parcel and package.
A parcel has got everything wrapped in one unit, right? So we can actually push it easily. All the binaries are there. We can push it all the
Exactly.
nodes.
Exactly. So that, even on the same host, we can have multiple versions of the parcels coexist. You can see that here. You can have CDH5 and CDH4 coexist. So you can download and distribute and then make it activated. That is, now we have downloaded this Kudu parcel, which is another kind of file system, something like your HDFS only. but this is a specific file system for a better retrieval of the data. Of course, that is only for structured, not semi and unstructured. So that we have downloaded now. Any of that is out of the context. We have downloaded. But remaining things you see available remotely, where in the Cloudera repository. These are available in the Cloudera repository. So you want anytime you can download them. So once downloaded, it has been downloaded only to the Cloudera Manager instance, where you have set up your Cloudera Manager instance. All these parcels will get downloaded over there. Okay. It is not going to be for every host it is been downloaded. No. It is downloaded only once, and then you can make them to be distributed. After that, you can make them to be activated. That is what we do. Okay. So this is all in the context of your hosts, because I think you see, we using the Cloudera Manager, we have added the cluster, and as part of the cluster, of course, and as part of the cluster, we have added the services. We have added the required services. What actions can be? You can add a service. That is what you can see here. The Cloudera Manager home page there. This is cluster 1. If you have multiple clusters, all been shown here. So you can add the service to the respective cluster. We have seen that very clearly. And after that, how you can make your host to get decommissioned and all those things we have seen. So all in the context of your cluster creation, adding services and all that stuff. Now, coming to the hosts, we have seen how we can deploy the roles onto the respective hosts, host templates, and the disk overview, the big picture of your the entire cluster host, cluster disks. And then we have discussed about parcels. Parcels we came across before, but as it is there here, we are discussing that one again. Now in the same, we have something called charts here, where if you go and see that, we can create, you see manage dashboards. We don't have any dashboard now. Whatever it is the default dashboard that has been created by the Cloudera Manager when it is been deployed. But you always can create a dashboard. Say for example, my dashboard, and I create this one. You can see there, your dashboard is empty as of now. You can also create new charts in the chart builder and add them to this dashboard. You can go to the chart here. You see, select. You see that here. You automatically get all these things. You need not, remember all these things. Active read requests, or you can say from yarn applications. Say active read request from yarn applications is a chart that we have built, assume. Okay, and I save this one. I save this as active or yarn app read request, assume. And here, add chart to the existing, you can have that one here. So these are whatever you are seeing down, all those are system dashboards. Whatever you created now, that is the newly created dashboard by you, that is my dashboard, and you go over here, you will be able to see. I think you noticed here. So if your built-in dashboards are not, I mean built-in charts as part of the system dashboards, because you see that here, so this is something related to your cluster one home page. This is what the charts that are there here. And every service, if you go to your HDFS, there also you have the charts again. I think you noticed here. HDFS capacity, total bytes read across data nodes. So all these graphs are specific, or charts are specific to your HDFS only. And if you go to your other service, say for example, if you go to your yarn service, the charts that you see there are totally different. Applications running, applications failed, applications killed, total containers running across node managers, pending containers, total failed across node managers, what is the health, important events and alerts, all these specific to your yarn service. You see, these charts are totally different from your HDFS charts, right? So you feel that this system, the system dashboard for each service, I think you notice that one here. Whenever you are creating a new chart, assume, select, I say here, um, accept recovery rate across from okay, and I save this one. I can make this to be added. I can make this to be added to my dashboard, and I say save chart. You can go over there, you can see these two things. See, apart from the system dashboard, what you are seeing, system charts, and even at the service level, if you want, you can create your custom dashboard and add whatever the charts you want, so that you can monitor the cluster in the way you want. Hope you got this point, friends, what I'm trying to share with you. This may not be the case if you go to Hortonworks or some other bundle or some other setup. You may not be seeing the same. You may have a different thing there, but this is specific only to Cloudera Manager. Now, building of the charts and using them to monitor your cluster. That is where you have something called chart builder, and you also has got something called manage your dashboards, where you can edit, clone, export, remove, whatever you want, you can do that. So you also, if you want, you can also import the dashboard, one dashboard into the other dashboard, and add more charts to that one, so that you can manage those things. You got the point here, friends? This all is for proper administration, nothing more. You go over there, you can see these things. You can see that one here. You want, you can remove, and you want, you can see chart builder. If you go there and see, you can build the new charts here. You can build a chart. You can build a chart here, right? And that can be added to the system dashboard, or even to your newly created dashboard, whatever it is, right? So this is empty as of now. You want, you can add the chart. You can add the chart. Before you add the chart, you build that one and you save it, and then you can add it to your respective dashboard. I think now you got the understanding how come this the chart that you are seeing here in this specific, how come you are able to add it to the dashboard. You want, you can add this one. Earlier we don't have that. Now you can see, save, and go to your my dashboard. You can also see that here. You can have the customization. Instead of you searching for different charts across different services, what can be done now is you go to the host. Say for example, you go to the cluster here and you go to HDFS. And in HDFS, you have a specific chart that is needed to you, which is accessible only here. Say, for example, this one, HDFS capacity that is needed. Add to dashboard. I say my dashboard and say save. So it becomes easy for me in one single dashboard. I'll be able to see various charts. I need not go to the respective. Here, my HDFS capacity, my disk IO utilization, I was able to see through my dashboard. So other services, say for example, I go to my yarn, and here in the yarn, the charts that are specific to yarn, applications failed. Applications failed. I want this to be available to my, and I say this, you can see with my dashboard, I was able to clearly monitor what are the applications failed. So I need not specifically go to yarn and see the chart over there to understand what are the applications being failed. Using my dashboard, I'll be able to monitor and see what all the things happening at my cluster level. Hope you got the point. Why you require a customized dashboard and how you build a chart and add that chart to the respective dashboards, either system dashboard or your customized dashboard. Make sense, friends? I think I see any question. Yeah, okay. Yeah, Arun.
No, Sri, just a question not related to the charts.
Yeah.
In the Cloudera Manager, when I'm managing multiple clusters, the Cloudera version and all the clusters should be the same, right?
Cloudera version on all the clusters? No,
It should be the same.
necessarily need not be. Arun. Why?
Are they download? So with my if my Cloudera Manager is say CDH 4.0 and my cluster has got
Oh, no, that
5.
is not possible. No, that is not possible. That is not possible.
Okay.
You can have.
So I have to have the latest.
Yeah, latest. This should be the latest one. Then you can add all the other clusters to it. That can be done. But if this is an old one, 4.4 or 4.5, and you have a cluster set up with the 5.8 or 5.7, something like that, then that cannot be managed by the old Cloudera Manager instance. See, at least the Cloudera Manager instance need to be upgraded. Then only it is possible for you to manage. See, you don't see these kind of rich features what we are discussing now, the chart builders and all in the older versions of Cloudera. You don't have all these things. System provided charts are there, that's it. But you don't have the provision to create your own charts and add it to your, create your own dashboard and add those charts to your dashboard so that you can visualize respective services within. But these are all not there. So hope this is clear. I don't think you have any questions on this. So I want you to make a note of these things so that you understand. So that you understand what your Cloudera Manager instance is providing you. You have the clusters here, and then you have your host, Then you have something called charts. Of course, you have something called diagnostics, where you can see the logs, the server log, events and all. We talk about that one. Then we have something called audits. What has been done? What has been done? Last 1 hours, 2 hours, last 6 hours, last 12 hours, last 30 days. You see what has been done. So gives you, so everything that you do in terms of your Cloudera Manager instance is being logged, and you are able to see what all the actions that you are. You want, you can add the filter, what specific things you want to see, only that you can see. So you can see here finished decommission, host again recommission, that is host recommission has happened, and a deleted user role. I think last session we did all these things. User Sunil, deleted user Arun, successful login admin, created a service Impala. So all these are things so that you understand. This all is in terms of your audits, your cluster audits. So you can see what's happening.
So,
Yeah.
so if I have multiple users running, say, Hive queries,
Yeah.
So I want to see, what is the CPU and disk IO being done by the individual users. I can see
Absolutely.
that, right?
Absolutely. Uh,
And then can I kill the user's job from here?
so two things here. One,
Can I kill a job?
no, killing cannot be done from here. No. Killing can be done only from your Hue browser. Killing can be done because there only where you have the options. But one thing that you can do is you can see that here. Say you go to the cluster, and there you have something called yarn, and you see here. Okay, so you can see the applications running. What are the applications running that you can see here? But you don't have the facility to kill them from here. You don't have the facility to kill them from here. You only can monitor. So you have something called Resource Manager Web UI, or you can go to the Hue browser. There you have something called Manage Jobs. From there you can kill. I think that you are aware. I need not give you that understanding. 192.168. Yes. You see here this. Here only you have that job browser. The job browser is present. So the job browser is present here. Against the job, we have.
Yeah, I've seen. Yeah, in this the developer class, yes.
Yeah.
You can see the jobs here.
So because that is all related to the development part, right? Running of the jobs and all. See, as an admin, you only can monitor how those jobs are getting executed, what are the resources being consumed, if it gets failed, how many applications got failed. Only those things we get. But the job administration needs to be done from the development front only, not from the administration front. But all those details we can monitor from here. What is the health, important events and alerts, and your total containers failed across node managers. All those things you can get from here. And based on if something related to the memory issue or resource constraints or something like, we take as an admin, we take the action. Right?
Yeah.
So I think we missed some aspect there. We were discussing something. Yeah, I think audits we were discussing. Okay. So you can have the audit section even, right? So you see this, that is where I asked you, please note it down. I mean, any of these videos are accessible to you. You can go through them. That's not a problem. But this is possible even from your pseudo cluster also. If you go to the Cloudera manager, you can see all these things. Whatever you are seeing here, except adding the new host, rest of all can be possible even from your pseudo cluster. So you see how you can get, I mean, from the cluster point of view, the host point of view, charts point of view, and even the audits point of view, right? And even at the service level also we have discussed very clearly. At going to each service here, you can see specific to the service here. Last 30 days you want, only last 30 minutes graphs you want, or 1 hour charts you want, or 2 hours charts you want. So depending on how you want to access, last 6 hours you want, 12 days you want.
Sri, my
Yeah.
maximum number is only 30 days, or like can we have behind that too? Like,
No, maximum is, I mean, by default it is 30. I mean, beyond that, your data is not visible here. But you want to analyze anything beyond 30 days, then because you know this Cloudera manager instance itself is built with a database. I think you are aware of that. See, by default is 30 days only here. You cannot have beyond 30 days. But you want to get the data and analyze it probably using the data log to your database, and the information that is logged to the log files, accessing those things specifically, you may build on your own. But by default, your manager will allow to access only the last 30 days. Otherwise, this becomes a too heavy process, giving more than that. By default is I mean, it is not beyond 30 days.
okay.
Because if you see, everywhere this option is being given, if I start giving beyond, then it is going to become, that is the reason why I am asking you to set up this Cloudera manager instance on a high configured individual machine, not in connection. That is the reason why we have set up that on a separate host. 39 I have set up only Cloudera manager. Initially, it gives a feel why we need to set up separately this Cloudera manager. I think now you will be getting how much information it is getting from each host and what sort of information it is storing within its database. I think you got the point. That is why it is expected to be maintained on a separate instance, a high config instance, not just a separate instance, high config instance. 1 second, friends, 1 second. Yeah, sorry friends. Yeah, go ahead. I think Arun, someone asking?
No, not me.
Yeah,
Mani was
we are discussing about that 30 days things.
Yeah.
Actually,
So by default, it is only 30 days, not beyond that. Not beyond that. So you see that here, you can, based on your need, you can see last whatever, how you want to monitor. Based on that, you can see how it can be. Last 2 hours, last 1 hour, last 30 minutes. You can only get that depending on your need. I think you see the change in the graphs that you are seeing here. Last 2 hours, last 6 hours. Of course, you want to can expand this one and specifically analyze this. That is always possible. And you want to can have a details, a specific thing about it. You can go and specifically analyze. You can click on this expand and it takes you to the specific so that you can analyze. This has got, Cloudera Manager allows you to, analyze things at a very precise level. The charts are been very beautifully. That is the reason why, of course, this being the first organization, entered into this space and started creating the bundles and all. Always this, these players will have definitely the advantage, in making up more, integrated services and more sophisticated facilities as part of the cluster. That is the reason why it is going ahead in the same path, right? So with this, if you observe closely, the Cloudera Manager instance we set up from that level to the creation of the cluster, adding of the services, and monitoring and managing those services, and adding your new hosts, and creating the host templates, and applying those host templates to the respective newly added hosts, and downloading your parcels, and distributing them and activating them, and creating your own dashboard and adding the charts you need, and looking at the audits of your. So whatever, I don't know whether you're following this sequence or not, but if you observe closely, it is going in such a way that initially we have discussed all the basic concepts required to set up the cluster. We have done that. We have seen all the basics that are required to create the cluster, and start adding the host and all the basics that are needed that we have discussed. Then we have seen practically how you can set up the cluster. As part of the cluster, how you can, of course, as part of the cluster, initially we have the Cloudera Manager instance created, and this, using this Cloudera Manager instance, how you create the cluster, and add services, and to this service, how you can monitor and manage. Okay, and we have also seen, of course, we don't have the provision to add one more cluster, but if required, we can add one more cluster and manage to the same Cloudera Manager. So after the cluster being created, a service being added and all, we have also observed how hosts can be added. Time to time when you want to add new hosts to the cluster, that is also possible here. Okay, and after that, how we can create templates and make these templates apply to your hosts, and then how you can make your parcels to be downloaded, activated, and distributed and activated on the respect to host, that also we have seen. So going in that path, so that we'll be able to see, I think in the tomorrow's discussion, we will be seeing, yes, yes, here. I think you notice here, there is something called utilization report, and you also see something called dynamic resource pool configuration and static service pools. Static service pools. This is all a part of your resource management. So initially it is a Cloudera manager and managing the services and all as part of the Cloudera manager. That is what we are seeing. Then is a resource management aspect, and next to this resource management aspect, we'll be thinking about backup and disaster recovery, and then we can think about how you can. Did we discuss the performance tuning? I think few aspects we discussed in terms of HDFS and all, not by large.
Yeah, I don't think so.
Right? So performance tuning is also one thing. I mean, at the administration front, not at the developer front. Developer front is different. Performance tuning, while submitting the applications to the cluster, is different, and performance tuning of the services as an admin is different. So we see performance tuning at the services level to make the services to function, right? In the tomorrow's discussion, we'll try to see this resource management. If at all, if time permits, I advise you to go through this one in the next session, not tomorrow. In the next session, we talk about resource management. As part of the resource management, we have static pools and dynamic pools. So what difference exists between these two, and how we make the resources to be utilized within the cluster by allocating those resources to your pools, so that you can manage your cluster efficiently. How resources need to be used basically by different applications. If all the resources are being consumed by the same set of applications, then probably the other applications are going to suffer. That is the reason why we need to create the resource pool and make these pools assigned to the respective applications, so that the applications can make use of only those resources, not beyond, so that other applications will not be impacted much, right? So please, if time permits, please go through the resource management concept of this cluster, so that you can follow things more easily, right? Make sense?
Yeah, Srini.
Yeah, great friends. I'll catch up again in the next session then. So then, if time
Okay,
permits
thank you.
today, a few things to be taken care today. If time permits, I'll definitely compile the document and share it with you.
Okay.
Yeah.